Okay, sorry for that. First of all, I wanted to share a slide that you all love, which is the foreground look statement slide. This means that Salesforce is a publicly traded company, and it simply means that you should make purchasing decisions based on the functionality that is generally available. So I was telling before that today we are going to talk, but we are not going to really talk. We are going to listen to you. We want to listen to your questions. And I have here with me two amazing product managers who are going to respond all of them. So with us, we have Sue Berry. Sue Berry is, I think, is Senior Director on the mobile platform team for product management.
Right, hi, everyone. Sue?
Yeah.
Yes, I am. And I work with making these custom mobile experiences easier for admins and developers.
Amazing. And we have also with us another great product manager who is Irfan Syed. And Irfan also works with Sue on the mobile platform, right, Irfan?
Yep. Hi, Alba. My name is Irfan Syed. I'm the product manager for the Mobile SDK team. So we enable experiences in which our customers can build apps on Android, iOS, using the headless APIs we provide from the SDK.
Great, thank you. So thank you both of you to be here. It's a pleasure to have you, and I'm sure that the audience is going to enjoy very much talking to you. So if you have questions, there are two ways in which you can share them with us. First of all, you can use our Trailblazer community group in the Salesforce Developers Trailblazer community group in trailhead.salesforce.com/Trailblazer community. You can either create a new post using the SF Devs AMA tag, or respond to this post here using that tag. And we are going to gather all those questions and to share those questions with our experts. The other option that you have is to use our YouTube channel chat. Some people from our team are monitoring that chat and will be sharing those questions with us. So, great. Let's start with questions. Right here we have our first question. We have a question from Ankesh Verma. Ankesh, thank you so much for asking this question. And the question is, can we use LWC in OpenCTI? So, Irfan, I don't know which one of you wants to respond this question.
Yeah, I can take that. So from the mobile SDK perspective today, the answer is not yet. We don't support mobile development through OpenCTI on mobile, at least. I think that's one thing I want to clarify. I'm assuming the question meant on mobile. But part of the mobile SDK is we are always soliciting feedback. And if this is an area where you have a use case, I'd be happy to follow up on this. But as of right now, no.
Yeah, so one thing that we will do is that after the streaming, we will follow up with all the questions, even if the questions are unrelated to the mobile topic, mobile development topic. We will try to share those questions with the product manager that applies to that area. So make sure to ask your questions, and then we will do that work afterwards to respond all of them. And if there are any things that need to be clarified, we will do that also in the Salesforce Developers Trailblazer community group. So we have another question from Eswar Raj, I think it's pronounced. Thank you for your question. It's a pretty long question, but I'm going to read it, and I'm sure that our experts are going to have the solution. So the question is, when we try to upload an image in a rich text area, it won't upload the image, and after some time, it will show a missing image icon. This issue is happening on iPad devices when a Visualforce page is loaded, specifically on an iOS WK web view. We're facing this issue only on sandbox environments. So who is the person who's going to respond to that?
Yeah. Irfan, did you want to start? And I can always add to it.
Yeah, I can take this. I guess the first question probably would be if they are using the out-of-the-box Salesforce mobile app. And if that is indeed the case, then we would like to kind of follow up on this. But we're using Visual Force page on and trying to upload an image on the rich text area. Rich text area support in Visual Force is something that is not optimal, but it should technically work. So Ishwaraj, I'll follow up with you and see how we can help here.
Yeah, it's also.
Yeah, and one thing I want to add,
Sorry, go ahead.
One thing I want to add, yeah, on the LWC side, like as Irfan mentioned, Visual Force, using it in Visual Force isn't optimal, and one of the things we're working on is providing a sample of how to do something like this with an LWC on mobile devices. And, I'll post a link once that's available so that you can, if you're looking to then transition over to LWC and LWC pages, we'll show you how to do this and upload images that way.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Sue and Irfan. Yeah, I think it's really important to start migrating those kind of pages, right? To be able to get the performance benefits and all the benefits from LWC in general. And it's great that you are able to ask these questions to us, because that way we are also able to find gaps or things that we need to work on that maybe we didn't know. So thank you for sharing that with us as Waradash. We have a third question. This is a question from Michael Scott. Are there any plans for new tools for mobile development? Things like CSS is very hard to develop for mobile.
Yeah, I can take that one. That's a great question. We already have a lot of these types of tools in VS Code today. One of the things that we've added are validators for CSS, so that as you're building in VS Code, as long as you have the SLDS validator turned on, it'll let you know some of the things that you may be doing. If the font is too small for mobile, or if you're using labels, make sure that you are addressing it for a mobile device as well. We will continue to look at other things that we can do to help, especially building for CSS. And we would love your comments and feedback on what we could do to help you make that easier for mobile development. But yeah, base components, we have a lot of validators in VS Code to try and help you with that, as well as the ability to be able to preview and debug your Lightning Web components from VS Code through simulators and emulators for mobile devices.
Yeah, I can.
To add to that, Alba, quickly, and this is the power of LWC. The fact that we're building on an open standard enables us to kind of support some of these developer tools, and part of the reason why we should look to migrate to LWC.
Yeah, that's a great suggestion. So I can tell I have used the SLDS validator extension myself, and it saves me a lot of time, because I love especially the autocomplete feature, because you can start writing the SLDS classes that you want to use, and then it autocompletes, and you don't have to remember everything or take a look at the documentation, because it pops up for you. So I found that super useful. Great. So we have another question from Ravi Narayanan. Thank you, Ravi, for your question. And the question is, we saw at Dreamforce about open source for building hybrid mobile apps using Nimbus. Do you recommend building apps using the Mobile SDK or using Nimbus? Any update on Nimbus, please? That's probably for Sue.
Yeah, I can start there, and then Irfan can add to it for Mobile SDK. What we want to do is we want to make things as flexible for you as possible. Nimbus is mostly for if you're building with Lightning Web components and you want to be able to have access to some of those native device features, like accessing the camera for barcode scanning or camera attachments or grabbing contacts from the device or getting the GPS location. Nimbus helps you do more of that for mobile, but from within a Lightning Web component. But if you're building like a mobile app from scratch, either a native app or a hybrid app, you don't need Nimbus there specifically because you already have access to those native device capabilities through Mobile SDK and through SwiftUI or Kotlin or Java. And so Nimbus is really to bridge the gap between like native mobile and then also those Lightning Web components. And to give you a quick update on Nimbus, we're always releasing new additional plugins. Today we have barcode scanning, we have GPS for location services, and we have access to contacts. And we have new plugins coming out in the next release for calendar service to be able to sync events back and forth from your device calendar. Or find out if you wanted to add to that.
Yeah, I think you summarized it perfectly, Sue. I think the areas in which both these choices are fairly distinct. If you have a use case where you're building custom LWCs and you want access to native device capabilities, that's why traditionally Nimbus is a great fit. Where Mobile SDK comes in is you want to control the end-to-end experience, both in terms of native as well as you want the UI to render, and you want to use the headless API capabilities that we offer from Mobile SDK. That's when it comes into the forefront as an obvious choice, but they operate in fairly distinct areas.
Yeah, and I can tell that I have used the barcode scanner API that Sue has just mentioned. Indeed, this Thursday, so tomorrow, we're publishing a blog post and a quick take in which we show how we've used that new feature in a Lightning Web component in our Dreamhouse app. And it was super fun, and I think it's going to solve a lot of interesting customer use cases. So, next question is from Michael Scott too. Thank you, Michael, again for asking a question. So what would be the best place to provide feedback for what we are looking for as mobile LWC developers?
Yeah, that's a great question. So on the Trailblazer community, we have a mobile tools group, and that's where you can provide feedback for LWC for mobile, the Nimbus features, debugging LWC for mobile, all of those types of questions and feedback. You can definitely submit them there, and we're monitoring those channels. And we love your feedback because that's how we make it. That's how we build tools and enhance the experience for developers building for mobile.
Yeah, and Alva, to kind of add to that, there's another group on Trailblazer community called Mobile SDK. Just to let you know, Mobile SDK just celebrated our 10th year, 10 years of releases. So we have a pretty wide array of community contributions across the world. So one thing I'd encourage is if you have any questions in terms of mobile development, especially in LWC, apart from the mobile tools group, also join the Mobile SDK group and ask questions, because apart from our own teams looking at it, we have a community that usually may have come across the problem you're trying to solve and might help. So
amazing. We'll share all the resources, including the link to this group in the Trailblazer community after the streaming. So we have another question. This time is from Afros Ahmed. I created a React app in Android. Is that possible to run a React app inside our mobile SDK?
That's a great question. And the answer is yes, because Mobile SDK provides APIs to build apps on React Native. And this is one of those use cases this is front and center of a lot of the folks who are building apps. So the answer is yes. Again, I'd encourage you to join the Mobile SDK Trailblazer group. We have a link to our developer docs with app templates, wherein if you want to get started on how to use these APIs in a React code base, you can do that. Highly encourage you to do that, because this is something that we're constantly updating as well. So.
Thank you, Irfan. Thank you for that complete response. And we have another question coming in. This time is from Sai Mahesh. The question says, in the org where we find the where in the org we find the already developed Lightning Web components? I think this question is a little bit out of topic because it's not related to mobile, it's related to Lightning Web components in general, but I can respond to that one if you don't mind. So at the moment, there's no way to see your Lightning Web Components code inside your organization. What you will have to do is to use a code editor such as Visual Studio Code. We recommend to use Visual Studio Code because we have a set of extensions that are going to help you with Lightning Web Components and Apex development or Salesforce development in general. And there in Visual Studio Code, the recommendation is to use those plugins through the Salesforce CLI, download or pull or retrieve the code of your organization. That way you are going to be able to see the code of your Lightning Web components and to work with those Lightning Web components, changing them and pushing the changes to your organization. There is something coming that is already in beta and that you can test, which is Code Builder. Code Builder is like the equivalent version to Visual Studio Code, but web. So what you are going to do with Code Builder is that you install a package in your org and you are going to be able to launch Code Builder from here. It's going to open on a browser and there you're going to be able to pull your components and take a look at the code. Hope that helps. I can share the resources later too. And then we have another question from Mayank Parmar. And this person says, will the composite API in the future be self-adaptable to identify the target records to wait and process once the record unlocks? This is to avoid unable to lock row issue. Please let me know.
I think, Alba, this is one of those questions where we'll reach out to the PM of the API team. It's not something I think me or Sue have any control over, but this is a great question. We will try and route this to the appropriate PM.
Yeah, thank you, Mayank. Thank you so much for that. And we have another question from Ravi, who already asked a very interesting question before. Can we package apps to Android and iOS using Nimbus like Ionic? A totally new app outside Salesforce One. The current barcode scanner and other features are restricted to run within Salesforce One, if I'm not wrong. I think Salesforce One refers to the Salesforce mobile app, right?
Right. Yeah, I'll take that one. Yeah, not today. Right now with Nimbus, it's not just Salesforce app. Today, any of the Salesforce apps can integrate in the Nimbus plugins. Today we have Salesforce app, we have field service, we have mobile publisher for Experience Cloud, Health Cloud Mobile, and Retail Experience, all using some of the plugins. But you are restricted right now to use those Nimbus plugins within the Salesforce built apps. We do have on our roadmap to look out to mobile SDK based apps in the future. And we would love the feedback, but that's where we are looking at right now.
Thank you, Sue. Thank you very much for your response. So we have another question from Jatin Preet. To use Lightning Web Components, we have to use the Lightning Out mechanism. However, we are working on capabilities to use, However, are we working on capabilities to use Lightning Web Components directly with the Mobile SDK?
Yeah, I think this is a great question. The answer is yes. We've actually written a blog in our developer docs on how to use LWC with Mobile SDK. Right now, we use a Visual Force container to kind of bootstrap the assets and render the LWCs. In our further roadmap, we do have plans of kind of improving this experience. But at the moment, if you wanted to use the native capabilities or LWCs, you could use a Visual Force container to kind of do that. And we have a blog and a code template to enable you to do that in our docs.
Thank you. Thank you for your response. I'm not sure if we have more questions coming in. I have my team gathering those questions and posting them to me. So you can ask more questions in the chat. You can also use our Trailblazer community. If you write them in the Trailblazer community, then it's going to be easier to respond them later. But also we'll post the responses to the great questions that you've been asking on YouTube. And we're waiting for some more questions. So here we have one more. I am part of the field service beta program. Okay, field service, great app. I am building Lightning Web Components to work offline in mobile. What tools are available to guide me in the right direction?
Yeah, Irfan, I don't know if you want to start or if you want me to start on that one.
I can take that. We actually have an invite-based beta group on Trailblazer that can actually request to be a part of. And one of the things we do there is constantly update our documentation. And also we're actively looking at, from a platform perspective, pointing most of the developer questions as a part of the beta programs in the right direction, or kind of facilitate maybe some gaps in our alignment and try and incorporate that in our roadmap. But what I recommend to this person, I'm not sure who asked this, but I will follow up and see how we can add you to that particular group.
Yeah, and one thing I want to add there for the folks that are in the beta program, we've gotten a lot of feedback on tools that can help to build Lightning Web Components for mobile offline for field service. And we are working on a test harness that for the pilot and beta customers to be able to build LWCs where you can test them for offline usage, and then have validators in VS Code for that static analysis to let you know how your LWCs are working when they interact with data via wires for offline usage. And we'll be demoing a lot of these new tools that we're providing at Dreamforce in our sessions and at the demo booths as well.
Amazing. Thank you for your responses, Sue and Irfan. Very, very insightful. So we have another question from Jatin Preet. Again, thank you, Jatin, which says, how Lightning Web Components can use offline capabilities with the Mobile SDK?
Yeah, this is a great question, and this is going to delve into our roadmap for Mobile SDK. Today, we support rendering of LWCs primarily in an online use case because we use a Visual Force container, and the runtime used by Visual Force when it was built was not necessarily mobile optimized or offline optimized. We do have plans in the future, to kind of optimize LWCs to run on the Lightning Web runtime. And right now, it's a little further out in the roadmap. We do have plans for that. But as of today, LWCs with offline capabilities, Mobile SDK is limited. But one thing Mobile SDK does provide is headless APIs. So if you do want to kind of call these APIs directly in a native UI context, you can still do that. And we have documentation for offline management, specifically in Mobile SDK, outside of LWC to enable to do that. It's partly the reason why Mobile SDK is so popular, because the primarily functionality is for offline support. But in terms of LWC, we are working on it in our roadmap. And when we have an update, we'll post it. But as of right now, it's primarily an online use case for LWC.
Great. Thank you. Thank you for that, Irfan. We have another question. This time, the question is from Alexandros Papadopoulos from Deloitte. In the mobile app, if you put a Lightning Web Component inside an Aura container, after each code deploy, you need to manually clear the cache for any change to show. Is this something that is being considered to be improved in future releases? Like being able to call a Lightning Web Component without an Aura component, or being able to refresh the cache more easily?
I can take this too, and you can probably add on to this. This is actually a very good question, because today in the Salesforce mobile app, Alex is actually right that we do render LWCs within an Aura container. The answer is yes to both the options in terms of able to be calling an LWC without Aura. That is being worked on in the near future, part of the roadmap. What is probably going to have first, and we'll take this as a feedback to the Salesforce mobile team. How can we refresh the cache more easily? I think that is something that that we'll take to the PM for the Salesforce mobile app and see how we can do this. But in terms of being able to call an LWC component without an Aura container, that is part of our roadmap in the near future.
Okay,
Yeah,
good
and
to know.
Yeah, and I'll just add to that, like Arfan said, it's something that we're definitely looking at, and I know that the Salesforce app today has a button that you can hit refresh. I think we can, on the Trailblazer community, chat with you more about what you've tried and what's working or not working, and just make sure it's not something that's already available or something that we need to look at to make things easier.
Great, thank you. Meanwhile, more questions came in. I wanted to pause for a little bit and show you two great resources that we have for the two topics that we are talking about today. So I don't know if you're familiar with our developer centers, but if you go to developer.salesforce.com, there is a section called Discover, where we have all our developer centers listed, and many people don't know that, and that's why I wanted to share it. So we have a developer center for Lightning Web Components for mobile, and another one for the Mobile SDK. Okay, and those developer centers contain all the resources that are going to help you learn about those topics. So for instance, we have the documentation listed, but we also have links to the tools that you are going to use while working with LWC for mobile. We have also the related Trailhead modules listed. We have videos. Oh, this is here, Sue, here you are, and here I am. Yeah. So we have some related videos that you can watch, and if you prefer written content, we also have blogs, and we have podcasts. When you are training and you want to listen to something interesting, then you have the podcast too. So I love to share about these developer centers because most of people don't know them, and I think they are super useful. So said that, let's go with the next question. We have another question from Ravi. Ravi, thank you so much. You are our question master today. What are the various pros in using Mobile SDK instead of using out-of-the-box REST APIs to fetch data from Salesforce? Is it just the quick time to market or any other out-of-the-box available in SDK and not in the REST API?
I think that's a great question, and I can take that. And maybe Sue, you can add to that as well. Mobile SDK, effectively, it not only provides you access to REST API, it basically provides you the building blocks, which actually all our internal apps, be it Salesforce mobile app or field service, use to build our own internal apps. And the building blocks are basically, if I had to summarize it into about 4 things, it would be, apart from the platform itself, getting the access to the APIs, it would be authentication. Mobile SDK provides secure storage through SQL Cipher. So you have end-to-end encryption on both calling the REST API, it's end-to-end encrypted, and also secure storage on the device. So by default, security comes built in with Mobile SDK. And one thing about Mobile SDK is we are actively evaluating the popular platforms to support APIs in that language. For example, Alba, you're on this Mobile SDK developer doc. We have reference guides for iOS, Android, React, and Cordova and HTML5 hybrid apps. And we also have a number of code templates. If you scroll down, right towards the end of this page, we have a lot of code templates where we've built use case driven code templates, which you can directly apply and get started. So outside of the APIs themselves, we provide security by default through end-to-end encrypted data on the REST side of things, and also storage, the secure storage we provide that enables you to have security built in. And this is leveraged by our own internal apps today. Salesforce mobile app, Trailhead app, the field service mobile app, and everything that's built, it's built on top of Mobile SDK for that reason. So it also facilitates a quick time to market because a lot of the code templates kind of enable you to do that. But the primary reason is the entire ecosystem it provides apart from the REST API itself.
Thank you, Irfan. Yeah, and indeed, I forgot to scroll down to the bottom, like completely to the bottom. And that's true that here in the developer centers, we have also all the code samples that are related to the topic in question. So we have also some sample apps that the developer relations team have created, and also some other resources that other team in Salesforce create, and that are going to be super helpful to learn by example, right? We have another question from Afroz Ahmed. Is that possible to track live map in Mobile SDK? Like in Uber, you can track the driver current location, like the same. Okay, so this person is asking if we can achieve the same in the Mobile SDK using hybrid model.
That's an interesting question. The answer with Mobile SDK is yes, because we have native iOS and Android code bases wherein you can actually use some of the Maps APIs and kind of get coordinates and find yourself on the map. And of course, it's permission based. You'll have to kind of build in a permission model. But in a hybrid model, it is. It depends on kind of what the components that you have, and that's an area where Sue, you can chime in terms of what Nimbus can provide through LWC. That's one of the things that probably is on the roadmap. But in terms of the use case, Nimbus could probably facilitate that. But as of right now, today, in a hybrid model, doing this, I think. The only avenue of doing that is using SF Maps, which is built on Visualforce, but I'm not sure that is what you're looking for.
Yeah, I think this is one where we can get more information on what you're looking for. In Nimbus, we do have GPS, and with the GPS, you can have, call out to maps and you can track location, but it is, building it yourself with LWC and the Nimbus plugin. And then we can always get more information from you from what you're trying to do and see if we have a sample out there or, what's possible, with Nimbus.
Great responses. Thank you, Sue and Irfan. So we have another question from Afroz Ahmed again. And this question says, is that possible to call a standard Lightning Web component inside a custom Lightning Web component for mobile? I think the response to this applies for mobile and for desktop, but I will let you respond, Sue.
Yeah, as long as we don't have anything why you can't do that. For most of mobile and Lightning Web components, what you would do for desktop most often, as long as it's responsive, the size is right, you use it within a mobile app itself. And we try to then guide you on when you can't do things. And most often that's CSS or specific components that are not meant for mobile. But as long as it's responsive and it can adjust the size based on the size of the mobile device, then there shouldn't be an issue there.
Mm-hmm. I think, Afros, if you can clarify, because I'm not sure if you were referring to Lightning-based components or if you wanted to use like a specific component that you have seen on App Builder that maybe doesn't have an equivalent component in the base component libraries. I'm not sure, but let me know if I'm correct or if with the response that Sue gave, it was enough. Also, I saw a comment from Ravi saying that thank you so much, Irfan, for your previous response. That was pretty cool. So thank you. We're like solving some doubts today. And we have here another question saying, can I use briefcase for offline syncing with the mobile SDK?
Yeah. This is a great question, and the answer is yes. Let's take a step back and define what briefcase is and what it enables. Briefcase is something that went live a couple of releases ago, and it supports data configuration. So sometimes it can be overwhelming in terms of, yes, you want offline support, but what specific objects do you want to support and how many records do you want to support? A briefcase builder, which is part of the Lightning platform, I think it went live 2 releases ago, facilitates that. And in the latest release, a briefcase builder actually supported a public API. So we just released, literally last week, Mobile SDK. We released Mobile SDK 10.1 with support for briefcase for offline syncing. For those of you familiar with Mobile SDK, briefcase is supported as a brand new sync down target. So again, there is an offline management section in our developer docs. I encourage you to see that. We're updating this to kind of support the briefcase, and you can see how to configure your apps to use briefcase in your mobile apps today. So upgrade to the latest 10.1 Mobile SDK if you can. And once you do that, briefcase builder support should just straight up work off the box.
Thank you, Irfan. Afros is saying that thank you so much for that response too. We have another question from Jatin. How to create mock unit test cases for mobile SDK capabilities in React Native. Do we provide mocks for that?
Well, I mean, this is where I again point them to the templates, the code templates, because part of the templates is we write unit tests as a part of that as well. So I'd encourage Jatin to check out our code templates and to get started on that. But you know, that's just a pointer in terms of how we would go about writing tests. You still have to figure out and in terms of how you would want to mock your tests. But just like any other developer SDK, no reason why you shouldn't be able to mock your use cases. And we have code samples to kind of support that as well.
Amazing. So we have another question coming in here that says, can I build mobile offline apps for laptops with mobile SDK? Well, pretty interesting question.
Well, this is actually a pretty popular question from our community, and it's something that we're thinking about. And the way the industry is trending, it helped our cause. So the answer is yes for Mac OS today. If you scroll up a little bit, Alba, I think Sue actually did a blog a year or so ago on how we've optimized our code templates for M1 Macs. So effectively, this is the second one, bring your Salesforce Mobile SDK apps to Macs. We've optimized our code templates to effectively run almost exactly the same way and optimize the UI to utilize the real estate on Mac OS. We are also bombarded with requests on, hey, can I make my Mobile SDK app run on Windows 11? Is that on the roadmap? Again, Microsoft and Google are working together on supporting Android apps on Windows 11 and optimizing for that. That is on our roadmap to support as well. So absolutely, if you build your apps through Mobile SDK, today you can optimize them to run on Mac OS. And in the near future, you will be able to optimize your app, your Android app, anything you build on Android, to run on Windows 11, because there is going to be platform level support that is going to allow you to just work offline. So for folks who are building apps which involves a lot of travel, you don't really trust your network connectivity, and you just want a consistent experience, you'll be able to leverage the Mobile SDK to do that.
Good to know, and I can think of infinite use cases to implement with that. Great. So we have one more question here, and the question says, what developer tools are available to preview and debug for mobile? I think this one is yours, Sue.
Yeah, I'll take that one. Yeah, it's a great question. In VS Code today, we have simulators and emulators to preview and debug when building Lightning Web Components for mobile. And you can do that directly locally without deploying to an org. And once your Lightning Web Component is far enough along where you want to deploy to an org and test it within like Salesforce mobile app or one of the Salesforce built apps, we have simulators and emulators for the Salesforce mobile app where you can preview, and you can hook up Chrome Dev Tools or Safari developer tools to that and see how that Lightning Web Component's working with other apps or other components on the page. Kick the tires before you deploy it, out for production or for live usage. So many tools are available today that you can take advantage of.
Yeah, and of course you can find those tools in the tools section of our developer sentence. Remember that you have that great resource available, and you are going to find everything that you need to use there. Okay, so we have another question, I believe. And we don't have more questions, but I'm going to ask to the audience, please ask us anything that you want to be responded, because this is a great opportunity that we have here, Sue and Irfan, who are experts on the mobile platform and who know everything about the roadmap and any doubts that you may have. Here we have another one. So what operating systems do mobile SDK apps work on? Any plans to support Windows?
Yeah, I think this ties into one of the earlier questions about offline apps for laptops. So mobile SDK, I mean, we constantly update our code bases, especially our code templates, to kind of show you the power of how to optimize apps for different OS. Today, on the Apple side of things, you can build apps on iOS, iPad OS, and Mac OS, as already pointed out. Android ecosystem is fairly unique because Google is supporting at a platform level Chrome OS. It's something that is on our roadmap to evaluate again how to optimize Android apps on Chrome OS. And Windows 11 specifically, which has a platform level support for Android, is another area we're looking at. So if I had to put all of that together in terms of what's supported today and that's going to be supported in the near future, it'll be Chrome OS, Windows through the Android apps, and then on the Apple side of things, iPad OS, Mac OS, and of course, iOS by default.
Amazing, Irfan. Thank you so much. So we have another question, which is, can I build with new technologies like SwiftUI and Kotlin for mobile SDK apps?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, our latest mobile templates on Mobile Sync is built completely on SwiftUI. And in the 10.1 release, we released a brand new template for Mobile Sync on Android, completely built on Kotlin as well. And thank you, Alba, for kind of putting this in. The external developers, our community who uses Mobile SDK have already done that. The job of Mobile SDK is to provide you the tools to build a really highly performant mobile app. You can use the API and the building blocks of what we provide, and put whatever UI you can use to it. And in that vein, we are trying to optimize our own templates to kind of showcase how you can do that.
Thank you, Irfan, for your response. So we have one more question, and we are going to close very soon. So if you have more questions, don't hesitate to ask them in the chat, because we are arriving to the end of the Ask Me Anything. And as I told you, this is an amazing opportunity to talk to our product managers. So the next question is, what native capabilities can I add to my Lightning Web Components today? I think you are muted, Sue. I'm not able to hear you.
Thank you, Alba. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. I'll take this one. I mentioned some of this earlier. Today we support barcode scanner, GPS, and syncing contacts to and from device. Barcode scanner is available in the Salesforce mobile app and mobile publisher for Experience Cloud, and Health Cloud and Retail Experience. GPS, if you're using the field service app or mobile publisher for Experience Cloud, you have GPS available today, and Contact is available in mobile publisher for Experience Cloud as well. And we're working very closely with these apps to bring in more of the plugins as soon as possible. And then calendar service should be coming soon to some of these apps as well.
Amazing, thank you. So meanwhile, more questions come in. I've been able to find the Trailblazer community group for the Mobile SDK that Irfan was mentioning before. Very easy. It's called Mobile SDK. So make sure, look at who is our very own group leader. We have Irfan here, and as you can see, all the questions are responded by someone from Salesforce or someone in the community. So make sure to join this Trailblazer community group if you work with the Mobile SDK and you are interested in knowing more about this feature. We have one more question here, which is, do I need to build Lightning Web Components just for mobile if they include Nimbus?
Yeah, I get that one a lot. We want to make things as easy as possible for developers. So the nice thing about Nimbus is that you just build your Lightning Web component. You can add in the Nimbus plugin, say, let's use barcode scanner as an example, and then you can run that Lightning Web component on a desktop browser or even in a mobile browser. And then that access to the barcode scanning, it just stays dormant in desktop browser and mobile browser, and it recognizes when it's in a mobile app. And when it's in a mobile app, all said now you can say scan, and it gets access to that device camera. You can use the plugin, capture the scan, and do something with it. But what it means is that you can build Lightning Web components that can be used across desktop, browser, and mobile, and not worry about it. And those plugins just stay dormant until you're ready to use them in the right location.
Okay. Sue, as far as I know, in the metadata of the component, you can also configure if you want the component to be available like for desktop or small devices, right?
Yeah.
And that gives you like a higher degree of control. Yeah, I've used that quite a lot.
Yeah, you can use. You're right, Alba. You can use form factor kind of set.
Form factor. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
to kind of hide it.
Yeah, a good feature to know about. So we have one more question which says, can we open external website in a Lightning modal in iOS?
So I'm assuming external links in an LWC. If that's the case, yes, you should be. I mean, I think I'm assuming your act. Okay, I think I'm going to make a couple of assumptions before answering this question. I'm going to assume that the user is using Salesforce mobile app. So if you're using Salesforce mobile app in an LWC component, you have a link. In Salesforce mobile app, we have support for universal links and URL scheme as well. So you could configure it by default. It will take you to the Safari browser. but you could ideally configure it. And as long as it's a URL scheme supported by Salesforce, you could navigate to that within the app itself. But if it's an external link, again, in my scenario, I'm assuming it's a link that you want to configure to open within the app. There are certain URL schemes that are supported today that could open within the Salesforce mobile app.
Thank you, Irfan. Hopefully, Eswar Arash, who is the person who asked the question, can provide more detail if the question was not responded. And if it was, that's perfectly fine. So we have one more question here. Where can I get started if I want to build mobile apps using the Mobile SDK?
And Alba, you were on that page a few minutes ago. Our developer docs, ask yourself this question. Do you want to go completely native iOS and Android, or both? Or do you want to have one code base that works on Android or iOS? If once you've answered these questions, we have avenues that you can go through to facilitate you building the apps. We have native Android development guides, iOS development guides, React Native development guides, and hybrid apps. So I'd say, again, join the Mobile SDK group. The first thing you see in the group information is this developer link. And I know, Alba, we're going to share out all the links to the audience after we're done. But join the Mobile SDK Trailblazer group. That would be a good place to start because it'll link to all the documents that you need.
Amazing. Thank you, Irfan. Yeah, very useful. Our developer centers. And again, take a look because we have developer centers for many clouds and topics. So we have one more question here that says, even though mobile apps are lovely, thank you, info security teams are very strict when it comes to security for mobile apps. If we are using the SDK, I'm not sure if the question is written correctly, but I'm going to interpret it. Are all covered regular security, or is it totally on how the app is developed?
So this is a very layered question, and I'll try my best to kind of give you a straightforward answer. The security in general with Mobile SDK, the people who build apps using Mobile SDK usually distribute these apps in a MDM format. So like if that is the one thing that you're worried about, it's like you're building an app, will our IT department basically flag it in any way, shape or form? Mobile SDK allows you to kind of bring your own MDM. You can build an app using the SDK, sign it with your own certificate, distribute it in your MDM provider. Usually, as I kind of mentioned, Mobile SDK comes with security inbuilt. We use it today in our own internal apps that we distribute. So again, specifics and nuances could be layered, but if I had to summarize it in a line, that's how to summarize it. So you can build your app using Mobile SDK. It does come with core competencies that security teams look for in terms of data integrity, encryption. We use asymmetric integration, asymmetric encryption, which is the highest level of security that enterprise orgs expect. So there's no reason why your security teams should have anything to work. But if there are security teams asking questions, again, I wanted to route you to our Mobile SDK group, and we can help out answering some of the questions your own security teams may have, and guide you through this process if needed.
Great, thank you. I have a question myself. So do you know if there is an equivalent LWC for mobile group on the Trailblazer community? Or should people ask directly, like in the Salesforce Developers one, or there is a generic Lightning Web Components one?
Yeah, we have a group called Mobile Tools, and that's what we use for LWC for mobile, for the tools that we provide when building Lightning Web Components for mobile, and also for the native capabilities.
Okay. I'm going to join this one. maybe if I look here for mobile tools, let me see. Let's see if I can find it. Okay, it's searching.
And it's one of the links that we have as a developer resource.
Okay, perfect. Oh, I see it here. Perfect. Thank you for pointing that out, Sue, because I didn't realize it was there. No, I have here the Mobile SDK. Oh no, here it is. Here it is. But I have too many screens and things open where they want. This one, mobile tools. Okay, so you have a new member, both of you. Amazing. So I'm not seeing any more questions coming in that are related to this topic. Again, for the questions that were maybe unrelated and that we didn't have the time to ask, we'll post those questions in the Trailblazer community and ping the related product manager so that you can have your responses. And I think that we are going to be closing the session for today. Thank you so much, Sue and Irfan, for all your responses. They have been great. And thank you so much for all the people who interacted on the chat. I remember some names. It was Ravi asked a lot of questions. Also, Michael Scott, Afros Hamed, Sai Mahesh, Yatin also. Thank you so much for all your questions and for maintaining these sessions alive, because these sessions wouldn't be possible without you. And to finish, I want to share this last slide to make a call. If you are not part of the developer community already, make sure to go there, because we are working a lot on maintaining this community up to date and to have all the interactions through this developer community. And not only our product managers and experts are there responding questions and helping you, but also other members in the community, so that you can even create new connections and meet new people. And that's very powerful and something that I love doing in the past and that I recommend everyone to do. So I'm seeing another comment. It's possible to make a session on triggers and integration. And I think we're going to have a session about integration very soon. I'm not sure about the month, but stay connected in our YouTube channel and take a look at the schedule of the sessions, because I'm sure there's going to be one about integration very soon. And with that, I would like to finish today's session. Again, thank you so much, all of you. Not sure if you want to say some final words, Sue and Irfan.
Yeah, this is really good fun. And thank you for all the folks who asked us the questions. And for those of you who are going to be probably watching this video on YouTube in the future, join this group and tag me and Sue on any questions you may have. And we'd be happy to answer or route your questions to the right PMs in there as well. So this was great fun. Thank you, Alba, for facilitating this.
Thank you.
Yeah,
thank you.
And I'll second that. Yeah,
Sorry.
And I'll second that. Yeah, sure, Alba. We love to, a lot of the things that we do on the mobile tools and the resources for developers is based on direct feedback and asks and requests from our developer community. So please get onto the Trailblazer community. Let us know how we can make the experience better for you, and also come and check us out at Dreamforce, because we're going to be demoing our latest and greatest features and tools that at the demo booths and in session. So we would love to see you there.
Yeah, thank you so much all. Bye bye. Have a good day all.